Welcome back, sweet peachers. I am so excited to be sharing with you today one of my favorite recipes of the perfect and crispy onion rings. If you're interested, keep on watching. So for this recipe here, I'm going to be using the most three common type of onions used. The first one is the yellow one. If a recipe does not call for an onion, this is the one that I'll go for. It's really good for, it's mostly used for cooking since it does not have a sharp taste or a very sweet taste. Now this one, in other hands, is a sweet onion. That's what it's called. It's pale yellow in color and good for salads or garnishes. And lastly, we have a white onion. This is used for potato salads or mostly in Mexican cuisine, and I'll be sharing more on them. So here I'm gonna start cutting the yellow onion. I am going to peel, cut the sides, wash, and then pat dry, and then I'm gonna start cutting into slices. Normally I've seen onion rings in 1/2 inches, but I like my onion rings to be a little bit more crispy and thinner, so I'm cutting them into 1/4 inches. The yellow onion looks nice and circular. I'm just gonna take off any smaller pieces. If you wanna fry them, you can always do that, but I'm just gonna stick to the circulars. Now the sweet onion, it's pale yellow in color and it's eaten raw in salads because of its mild flavor and because of its sweetness. As you can see, this was not very circular and had some sort of shape to it and some smaller and bigger pieces, but yet I'm still gonna use it. And lastly is this white onion. Was my favorite to cut and slice because of how circular this is and how perfect the shape looks like for onion rings. Otherwise, there's no judgments on sweet peach on shape and size. So if you want them to be a little bit thicker and not as thin as what my onion rings look like, please make sure you cut them about 1/2 inch or over 1/4 inch. So I put them on a tray and I'm going to leave them in the fridge until I prepare my batter. And as you can see, the yellow onions were not as circular, but that's fine. We're just gonna try all of them and enjoy the flavors. And now I'm gonna ready to prepare my batter. So for this, I am going to take 1 cup of all-purpose flour and 1/3 cup of cornstarch. Also, I'm going to do 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and I'm using this chili powder, which is 1/2 teaspoon. And then I'm also going to do, to taste, salt and crushed pepper. You can use how much ever you like. I've used 1/4 teaspoon of each. I'm going to nicely blend all the mixes in. This will be for my coating, and I am going to be adding some sparkling soda in it. Now you could always add milk, regular water, or a beaten egg, but I am going to go in with sparkling club soda, and I'm going to pour a little bit as I go along. And knead. This is, just clarify, is cold soda, and the consistency should look something like this, like your pancake batter. I am going to be using some panko seasoned breadcrumbs. These are really good and they have already some seasoning. If you want to use some regular breadcrumbs, you can, but I like how thick they are and they give a nice crispy taste on them. So now since I'm ready, I'm going to take my onion rings out of the fridge and dip them into the batter and remove any excess batter because that causes sogginess. So I just want to have just enough and then coat it into the breadcrumbs. And then I have the oil heated at 400 degrees, and I'm going to make sure that I deep fry the onion rings for a minute or 2. And since the oil's hot, it's not gonna take long. Now you can also do this same process in the oven, but if you prefer an air fryer, that works really great too with the same recipe. But today we're just gonna stick with deep frying. Now I had taken them out and let the excess oil go onto the paper towel, and then I've put them on a tray and I'm ready to indulge. Now I really enjoy the yellow and the sweet onions for onion rings because of like they're a little bit of a strong, nice taste. If you prefer sweet onion rings, then I would use the sweet onion, which are pale yellow in color. And thank you for staying with me, and thank you for watching the video.